ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ kú déédé àsìkò yìí wèrè sún tí wèrè bá sún kò giri wèrè máa fárígá wèrè àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ó ti sún kò giri báyìí wọ́n ti fárígá mọ́jọba lọ́wọ́ tó o bá ń gbọ́ wọ́n ti fi ṣakabùlà kóná wọlé ó ti kóná wọlé báyìí ẹ farabalẹ̀ ẹ wá gbọ́ kékeré kọ́ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tá a wà yìí ó ti di woro sí woro láti inú ìjọ Ọlọ́run bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mọ́ṣáláṣí ni o ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ni o ó ti di kólúkálùkù ó jira báyìí gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ mi tí mò ń sọ òye yín ó sì máa yé yín láìpẹ́ máa gbé yín débẹ̀ ẹ wá wò ó bí àwọn èèyàn bí wọ́n ṣe máa gbé ìbọn wọnú ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì lọ́jọ́ ọ̀sùn níbi tá a ti pè Jésù ẹ dákun ẹ gbọ́ òfin wo ló fààyè gbà á sófin Nàìjíríà àbí pàápàá nínú Bíbélì gan aláàbí ǹjẹ́ Bíbélì fọwọ́ sí i wípé ká máa di kámọ́ra wọ́n ti jẹ́ ó yé wa o wọ́n lọ wà nínú ìwé mímọ́ ti Kùránì àti ti Jésù tí í ṣe Bíbélì ìpè bẹ́ẹ̀nbẹ́ ẹ wá wo àrà ẹ wá wo báwọn èèyàn ṣe fi ṣàkàbọ̀dà gbé kóná wọlé ìbọn bájínẹ́tù gidi irin tútù yóò ṣe máa wọlé sínú ìjọ látàsìkò yìí lọ kí ló fàdí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ farabalẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ lẹ́gbọ̀ọ́ ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rí ẹ ti gbọ́ nípa àwọn tí wọ́n kó nílùú ẹ̀rúkú àwọn olùjọ́sìn tí wọ́n sin Jésù jẹ́jẹ́ ara wọn wọ́n ti dé a máa mú yín débẹ̀ a máa gbé yín débẹ̀ pátápátá bí wọ́n ṣe rìn nínú igbó ohun tójú wọn rí lọ́hùn-ún tẹ́ ẹ bá rí wọn àánú àbíamọ ṣe yín tẹ́ ẹ bá rí àwọn tí mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ yìí tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ tẹ́nìkan bá ń sọ pé tí wọ́n bá rí pẹ́ǹtì ká gbà wọ́n wọlé irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yìí ẹ̀yìn bọ́ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni ó ṣe àwọn eléyìí láàánú irú àwọn ọmọ kékeré ń bẹ nínú wọn ṣé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ tí ò kọjá ọmọ ọdún 4 sí 5 tí ọ̀kọ́jọ́ ọmọ ọdún 4 sí 5 àmọ́ kí n tó gbé yín ìrìn àjò yìí ọ̀yá ẹ kọ́kọ́ wo bó ṣe kó wọn wọlé sórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti sí gbogbo inú ìjọ látàsìkò yìí dé lóòótọ́ ni àbírọ́ ẹ bá ń ṣe àìtò yìí tó bá jẹ́ gbà àkọ́kọ́ bá mi subscribe kó bá mi ṣe àìjọ wọlé ayé lọ ọ̀yá òun rèé ẹ gbọ́ bó ṣe lọ ẹ wo fídíò yìí.
Mo fẹ́ gba president wa àti gbogbo Nàìjíríà ní ìmọ̀ràn.
I want to give an advice to our president.
Ìmọ̀ràn ni o.
It's just an advice.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí president kó bọwọ́ lu láńsẹ̀nsì fún gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà ká máa gba ìbọn.
Let the presidency sign a license that we can all own guns.
Ìyàwó wa kó gbà kọ́mọ gbà.
Our wives should get guns, our children should get guns.
Tí gbogbo wa bá gba ìbọn.
So if we all have guns,
a ní rí èèyàn kan tó máa wá fi ìbọn halẹ̀ mọ́ ẹnìkan.
everybody will be able to comport themselves. Nobody can scare anybody.
Ká fún wa ní láńsẹ̀nsì ẹ̀.
The government should sign it as a bill.
Ìjẹ́ ta ló mọ̀ wípé Pétérù ó mú àdá ó mú sọ́wọ́.
Who knew that Peter had a sword on him?
Nígbà tí wọ́n mú Jésù Kristi.
And when Jesus was caught,
ó yọ àdá jáde.
he drew out his sword.
Ìmọ̀ràn kejì.
The second advice.
1914. Àwọn bàbá wa yìí láti ilẹ̀ Haúsá, ilẹ̀ Ìgbò, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Our forefathers from Hausa land, Igbo land, Yoruba land.
Wọ́n parapọ̀.
They came together.
À ń pè wọ́n ní Nàìjíríà.
We call them Nigeria.
Wọ́n sọwọ́ pọ̀ ni.
And it was an amalgamation.
Pẹ̀lú sùúrù.
With ease.
Àti ìfẹ́.
And love.
Òun náà fi darapọ̀.
They coined Nigeria.
Ṣùgbọ́n nísìn.
But now.
Tó bá ti pé kò ṣeé ṣe mọ́.
If it is no longer working out.
Ní sùúrù náà.
With that peace.
Tàbí ìfẹ́.
And love.
Láláì sí ìjà.
Without fighting.
Láláì tẹ̀jẹ̀ sílẹ̀.
Without bloodshed.
Ká tún fi yapa.
We can also go our separate ways.
Ká mẹ́ta tún fi yapa.
Those three can go their separate
ways. Bóyá yẹn ló máa jẹ́ kí orílẹ̀-èdè yìí dára.
Maybe this will make this country better.
Ìmọ̀ kẹta nìyí o.
And this is the third advice.
Ẹ̀yin Kírísítẹ́nì káàkiri.
Christians all over the world.
Ẹ má jẹ́ kẹ́nìkan tàn yín jẹ o.
Do not be deceived.
Matthew 8.
Matthew chapter 8.
Láti 1 to 4.
From verse 1
Ẹ
to
lọ
4.
kà á.
Go and read it.
Adẹ́tẹ̀ kan wá sẹ́dọ̀ Jésù.
A leper came to
Ó ní
Jesus.
tó bá fẹ́ ò lè mú mi lára
He
dá.
said, if you want, you can heal
Jésù ni
me.
mo fẹ́.
Jesus said, I want
Kára ẹ̀ yá.
for you to be
Ara ẹ̀ sì yá.
healed, and he was healed.
Jésù ni máa bá tiẹ̀
He
lọ.
said, go your way.
Má sọ fẹ́nikẹ́ni.
Tell no one
Òfin tí Mósè pa láṣẹ
that the law of Moses,
kò lọ ṣe.
go and do it.
Òfin wo ni Mósè pa láṣẹ fún àwọn adẹ́tẹ̀ tí ara wọn bá ti gba ìwòsàn?
What is the law of Moses when a leper is made whole?
Ẹ lọ wádìí ẹ̀.
Go and look for
Jésù náà
it.
ló ní kán lọ ṣe o.
Jesus told him to go and do it.
Ẹ̀yin ọmọ ìjọ
You members,
ẹ lọ ṣe. Ájò tó dáa ṣe.
yes, go and do something that can
Tó yẹ
protect
pé tó bá
you.
gbé ìbọn wọ ẹ̀dọ̀
Such
yín,
that if they bring guns to come and
kán
hurt
kọjú
you,
ìbọn tira wọn.
let them face themselves
Kí ìbọn ti ẹ̀yìn jò.
and let the gun shoot at them.
Tàbí kẹ́ rí oyin kẹ́ fi lé wọn.
Or you should find bees to
Tàbí
chase
tó bá
them.
ń bọ̀ ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì yín,
Or if they are coming to your church,
kán ti kú kán tó dé
they
ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì
should
yín.
have died before they get to your church.
Ẹ lọ ṣe o.
Go and do it.
Ẹ jẹ́ sọ fún yín.
Let me tell you,
Àwọn ọmọ ìjọ tèmi o.
all my own members,
Tí bá dé àsìkò,
when it is
tí bá
time,
ní kán wá ṣe,
if I say they
tó
should
bá
not do
ṣe,
it, they don't do it,
máa lé wọn.
I will send them
Tókè mi ò
away.
fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ ìjọ tèmi kankan kú.
Because I don't want any of my members to die at the
Mi
end
ò
of
lè
this battle.
dira.
I cannot be fortified,
Káwọn ọmọ ìjọ mi má dira.
and my members will not be fortified.
Olùṣọ́ àgùntàn rere ni mí.
And I am a good shepherd.
Mi ò lè wò ó kán máa pa ọmọ ìjọ
I
mi.
cannot be looking at them to be killing my members.
Nígbà tí wọ́n dé ìlú Ọ̀wọ̀,
When they got to
ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì yẹn,
that church,
àwọn kan kégbe lórúkọ Jésù.
people shouted in the name of Jesus.
Jésù lágbára láti gbà wọ́n
Jesus
lẹ̀.
had the power to save them.
Ṣùgbọ́n
But
Jésù ní ó di ọ̀run.
Jesus said, until you get to heaven.
Ní Kaduna,
At
gbogbo
Kaduna,
ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì tán lọ rédí
those
yẹn.
churches that they were raiding,
Àmọ̀yẹ wọn tó pè lórúkọ
they
Jésù.
all called the name of Jesus.
Síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ wọ́n pa
But
wọ́n.
even at that, they killed
Kí
them.
ló fà á?
Why?
Jésù ní ó di ọ̀run.
Jesus said, until you get to
Ẹ tó bá
heaven.
kú ni tiẹ̀ gbé o.
It is if you die, that is the end.
Ìwọ
for
tó
you.
bá mọ àjò tó dáa
If
ṣe,
you know what to do,
yọjú sí mi.
come and see me.
Wo mo ní ẹ̀ka ìjọ tó pọ̀.
I have a lot of branches.
Mo ní lamẹ́ríkà ní London.
I have in
Mo ní
America, I have
káàkiri.
in UK
Ní
as well.
Nàìjíríà ń bí.
And even in Nigeria.
Mo pè é ṣàkíyèsí nìyẹn o.
I'm calling your attention
Ọba
to
sọ pé pásítọ̀ tó ń
this.
ṣe ọ̀rọ̀
That you
ogun.
say, look at that pastor.
Mi ò lágbára.
I don't have any
Ṣùgbọ́n
power.
tó bá là mí mọ́lẹ̀ máa gé ẹ jẹ.
But if you eat me on the ground, I will bite you.
Máa gé ẹ jẹ.
I know how to
Ọmọ
fight
ìjọ
you.
mi tí n bá ti sọ pé kó gbà kó lò ó.
Any of my members,
Tí ò bá ti lò ó, màá lé kó
if they
church.
don't use it, I will send them
Because
away.
mi ní jẹ́kẹ́ nìkan wọ ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì kó wá pa àwọn ọmọ mi
Because I will
lọ́wọ́.
not allow my members
Olùṣọ́
to
àgùntàn rere ni mí.
to kill my children.
Ẹ dira.
Go and be
Ẹ dira.
fortified. Go and be fortified.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ padà gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ káàbọ̀. Ẹ gbọ́. Ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ tí bàbá tó sọ̀rọ̀ yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ọlọ́pọlọ ni àbọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọ̀pọlọ? Ẹ kọ́mẹ̀ntì. Torí wọ́n lẹ́ni tí ìjà òṣojú ẹ̀ rí, tí Ṣàngó òṣojú ẹ̀jà rí, òun ní ọmọ abáwọn gbọ́ba àkóso. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹni tó bá ti rí ìrírí tàbí ẹni tó ní lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ má rí yóò mọ̀ wípé ojú lásán kò ṣeé ṣe wèrè lóòótọ́. Ó ti fẹ́ dà bẹ́ẹ̀ báyìí tá a fi ń rọ ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tó jẹ́ President Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ tí bàbá yẹn sọ. Ó ní kí wọ́n rántí amalgamation 1914. Ibi tá a máa padà sí náà nìyẹn. Àmọ́ kó tó dà bẹ́ẹ̀ ló dàbí pa àwọn ará bí yìí tí wọ́n ń sáré kí wọ́n lè túbọ̀ gbà díẹ̀ sí nínú ilẹ̀ wa. Tí wọ́n bá ní ká máa kóbọn wọlé kí gbogbo èèyàn máa gbébọn lọ ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì. Ẹ dákun ẹni tó bá sọ pé tó lágbájá mo rí ẹ pẹ̀lú ìyàwó mi lánàá, Ṣẹ́gun ni ó fi sọ ọ́ tí ó fi yìnbọn fún tọ̀hún. Ìdí nìyí tá a fi gbọ́dọ̀ kọ̀ sídà ẹ̀. Ṣáà ti dàgbà tó ká máa kóbọn rìn. Ṣénu wa ò le jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwa ìyà kan wà tó jẹ́ pé a lè faradà. Ṣùgbọ́n ilẹ̀ Yorùbá aláwọ̀ ìyà kan tó burú lébi pé tó bá gbọ́ pé o lu ọmọ òun lásán ìbọn yóò gbé yọ. Àmọ́ tí ò sì jẹ́ pé àwọn irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló wà fún rárá. Irú àwọn karambání tí wọ́n kọ̀ tí wọ́n àgbọ̀dọ̀ yan mọ́ ìlú. Téèyàn ò lè sùn kílẹ̀ mọ́ láì jẹ́ pé ó gbọ́rọ̀ nìkan tí ọ̀dà. Ibi gbogbo wa ti di bí ọ̀wọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé téèyàn bá fẹ́ sùn kọ́ pa gbogbo náà lé. Ó dìgbà tá a bá tílẹ̀ bá mọ́ tá a bá ríran rí gbogbo ara wa láàtò mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ṣe mọ̀. Máa gbé yín débi rí wọn, ẹ jẹ́ gbé yín débẹ̀. ìrírí tí àwọn ará Kwara rí ohun tó ju wọn rí lágbèjù. Ṣùgbọ́n lónìí pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe rí bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ó ti ṣe bẹbẹ, ó ṣe nǹkan táwọn gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà ń retí látàrí kíni, látàrí pé àwọn èèyàn yìí bí wọ́n ṣe lọ Ọlọ́run ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ láti mú wọn padà wá. Pé bí wọ́n ṣe kó wọn àwọn 38 yẹn gbogbo wọn pátá lọ padà láyọ̀ àtàlàáfíà lẹ́yìn òdìdí ọjọ́ bíi 4 ní inú ọgbà àwọn ajínigbé àbí 5 lọ́jọ́ 7 láti last week Tuesday ni kíní ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Now ìgbà bí wọ́n ṣe wọlé lẹ́rí tí mọ́tò funfun bọ̀gìnì ọkọ̀ ìjọba tó kó wọn wọlé pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba. Àmọ́ ìbéèrè kan ló gbọ́kàn gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. Bíbẹ a kàn gbọ́ pé wọ́n kó wọn dé ni àfi bí ìgbà tí wọ́n lọ kó wọn pamọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ lójú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn. Kí lẹ rò pé mò ń sọ? Bí ìgbà tá a sọ pé tó à kó àwọn lágbájá lọ ìlú kan o, ìgbà tá a bá tó bá wà á kó wọn wá. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé bí wọ́n ṣe ẹ má ṣe bìbọ́ o, bí wọ́n ṣe ń kó wọn bí àwọn ajínigbé yìí bá jìyàn gbé a máa gbọ́ pé tó wọ́n san ránsọ̀mù àbí wọ́n san ránsọ̀mù. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n san ránsọ̀mù àbí wọ́n san ránsọ̀mù kò sẹ́ni tó yé. Ṣé ìjọba tẹ̀ gbá wọn mú bóyá wọ́n ti rán wọn lọ sí àlùjánnà tí wọ́n ti ń retí pé àwọn lọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ náà tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ni àbí wọn ò tẹ̀ rí wọn rán lọ síbẹ̀ kankan. Báwo làwọn èèyàn yìí ṣe rìnrìn àjò wọn? Ẹ wo ọmọdé, ẹ wo àgbà. Ẹ̀yin náà rí wọn, ẹ sáà rí bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe. Kébí odidi ọjọ́ 7 ọ̀pá àyàn torí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní imagine irú oúnjẹ wo náà fẹ́ fún èèyàn bíi èèyàn 38 yàtọ̀ sí àwọn tó ti wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. Àtọmọdé àtàgbà, ẹ wo àwọn àgbàlagbà tó tún wà láàrin wọn, àwọn ọ̀dọ́ tó jẹ́ pé inú tara ìfẹ́ tí wọ́n ní sí Ọlọ́run náà fi lọ sí fún àwọn lọ jọ́sìn sí Ọlọ́run wọn. Ohun kan yà mí lẹ́nu tẹ́ ẹ bá wò ó, ẹ rí i pé ẹnìkan wà àwọn kan wà lára wọn tó ti weak pátápátá. Irú àwọn èèyàn yìí gbọ́dọ̀ gba ìtọ́jú tó dáa lọ́dọ̀ ìjọba. Àmọ́ ṣé wí ò ní padà ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́? Ìbéèrè tí ká béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara wa rèé. Ìlú Ẹ̀rúkú kò jìnnà sí Kogi, ojú títì báyìí ló wà. Àmọ́ kó tí wọ́n kó wọn wá lè yìí, a dúpẹ́ pé wọ́n kó wọn wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Kẹ́bì àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ àtàwọn ọ̀gbìn tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Ìbéèrè tèmi béèrè rèé wípé ṣé kinní yìí ṣé ò ní padà wáyé mọ́? Torí pé after all now a gbọ́ pé tó ẹ pa wọ́n ni o, ẹ mú wọn láàyè ni o, ẹ jù wọ́n síbi kan ni o, àbí yẹn gbọ́. A kàn mọ̀ pé tó wọ́n lọ o, ìjọba ti kó wọn padà wá. Àmọ́ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lọ, ẹ kó wọn padà wá, ọpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ọpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba. Ṣùgbọ́n béèrè tiwa ni pé àti ẹ̀bẹ̀ ni pé báwo ni ò ṣe ní wáyé mọ́ káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pàápàá jùlọ torí wọ́n ní tààsù bá pé tara ẹni náà já. Àásù ti pé báyìí tara àmì mú kọ́kọ́ ń já báyìí ni. Báwo la ṣe ṣe àwa àrán Yorùbá? Báwo la ṣe máa ṣe ẹ̀yin kábíyèsí wa, ẹ̀yin lọ́balọ́ba wa, ẹ̀yin olóṣèlú ìlú wa, ẹ̀yin alágbára, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ ní agbára lọ́wọ́, bó o la ṣe ṣe? Ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Ẹ wo ẹ jẹ́ mú yín mi lọ ìrìn àjò yìí kẹ́ ẹ wò kẹ́ ẹ gbọ́ bí wọ́n ṣe rìnrìn àjò wọn bó ṣe rí. Ọ̀yá ẹ bá ń fohùn sí fídíò yìí nínú ilé. Ẹ ṣe mo dúpẹ́. Ẹ pàjẹ́ gbà àkọ́kọ́ rèé bá ń subscribe sí channel yìí, like, comment, lọ́wọ́ òwúrọ̀ ayọ̀ kò ṣe o. Ọ̀yá ẹ ṣe níbẹ̀.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu confirmed what many Nigerians had been desperately waiting to hear. The 38 worshippers who were kidnapped during a live church service at Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, Kwara State, had been successfully released. white buses rolled into the community, accompanied by security personnel, bringing the victims home to their anxious families. Families rejoiced and the community celebrated the safe return of their loved ones. But amid all the celebration, there was one thing that worried many Nigerians, and that was the fact that there was absolutely no information on how the victims were actually rescued. There was no report from the government that armed bandits had been engaged by security forces in a fierce gun battle. There was no announcement that the criminals had been neutralized or captured. There were no details about a daring rescue operation. The victims simply appeared, and everyone was expected to celebrate and move on. This silence raised a troubling question in the minds of many citizens, making a lot of people across social media suspect that ransom was paid to secure their release. If ransom was indeed paid, and many suspect it was, then the implications are deeply disturbing. The money would go straight into the pockets of the same bandits who terrorized innocent worshippers. They would use those funds to buy more weapons, recruit more criminals, and probably plan even bigger attacks. Worse still, it will send them a clear message that they are in control and that the government is powerless and that the Nigerian authorities will always dance to their tune. While it is undoubtedly a good thing for the kidnapped worshippers to reunite with their loved ones, safe and sound, many citizens believe it would have been far better news to hear that the abductors were captured or eliminated. Such news would have breathed a sense of confidence into Nigerian citizens, reassuring them that their security forces are capable of launching successful rescue operations without having to negotiate with criminals. Unfortunately, recent events suggest other bandits had stormed a girls' secondary school in Maga Town, Kebbi State, and abducted 25 schoolgirls in the early hours of Monday morning. When security forces attempted a rescue operation, they were ambushed by the same heavily armed bandits. The soldiers suffered severe injuries in the attack, and while 2 of the girls managed to escape on the day they were abducted, the remaining 23 girls are still in captivity till this very day. Their families continue to wait, hope, and pray for their safe return, but there has been no breakthrough as of this time. The pattern is becoming alarmingly clear. Bandits strike with confidence, knowing that they can overpower security forces or simply wait for ransom payments. Communities live in fear, wondering when the next attack will come and whether their children, wives, husbands, or parents will be the next victims. Just one day after the Kebbi school abduction, on Friday, November 22, 2025, armed bandits launched an even more audacious attack. They invaded St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary Schools in Papiri, located in the Agwara local government area of Niger State. Over 300 students and 12 teachers were abducted in one massive operation. The initial report suggested that 227 people had been taken, but after a verification exercise and census carried out by the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, the actual number was revealed to be far higher. The victims were confirmed to have consisted of 303 students and 12 teachers, bringing the total to 315 victims. The scale of the abduction was staggering. St. Mary's Catholic School is a large complex with more than 50 buildings, including classrooms and dormitories for both primary and secondary students. Out of 430 pupils enrolled in the primary section alone, 377 were boarders living on campus. The bandits had struck during the night when the students were most vulnerable and asleep in their dormitories. However, there was a small glimmer of hope. Between Friday and Saturday, 50 of the abducted students managed to escape from their captors. These brave young students found their way through the bush and reunited with their parents. According to reports, the children did not return to the school, but went directly to their homes, desperate to be back in the safety of their families. Based on the latest count, aside from the 50 pupils who escaped, 141 students were not taken during the initial attack. This means that currently, 236 pupils, 3 children belonging to staff members, 14 secondary school students and 12 staff members remain in the hands of the bandits. That is a total of 253 children and 12 adults still in captivity. The chairman of CAN in Niger State called for calm and urged everyone to continue praying for the successful rescue of the remaining victims. He emphasized the need for collaboration between security operatives, community leaders, the government, and relevant authorities to ensure the safe and quick return of all the abductees. But prayers alone cannot stop bullets or rescue children from armed criminals hiding in large forests. The security forces have to do more. One point of controversy emerged regarding the St. Mary's Catholic School attack. The Niger State government released a statement claiming that authorities had received intelligence warning of increased threats in the area. According to the government, they had mandated all schools in the area to shut down activities, but the school had reopened without notifying or seeking clearance from the state government, thereby exposing pupils and staff to what they classified as an avoidable risk. However, the proprietor of the school, Bishop Yohana, strongly denied these allegations. He stated clearly that neither he nor the school's education secretary received any circular or warning from the government. He challenged anyone making such claims to provide proof and evidence. The bishop explained that in the past, around 2022, when they heard rumors of security challenges, they immediately shut down the school without hesitation. He questioned why they would ignore an official government warning if one had truly been issued. The bishop emphasized that the school is owned by the Catholic diocese and that they are law-abiding citizens who would never knowingly put children at risk. The truth remains unclear, but what is certain is that hundreds of Nigerian students are currently in the hands of armed criminals and their families are living through unimaginable anguish. These mass abductions highlight a disturbing reality in Nigeria today. Armed bandits have become so bold that they can invade schools and churches, kidnap hundreds of people and fade into the forest with little fear of consequences. Communities are left traumatized, families are shattered, and the Nigerian government seems unable to stop the cycle. The release of the 38 Kwara worshippers is a development worth celebrating, especially for the victims themselves and their families. But looking beyond this, if there are no visible consequences for the criminals, these attacks are likely to continue because every ransom payment, if that is indeed what is happening, only funds the next attack and emboldens the bandits to aim even higher.
It was just a sudden act, suddenly, and a terrifying act. Because that evening, after like 30 minutes to the program, we started the program by, I think, around 5. So like 30 minutes to the program, after all the praises, we just heard gunshot. Even to my own perspective, I didn't know it was gunshot. I think it was just sparkling of some wire. But by the time we get, they surrounded the whole church. Even some people, they begin to narrate that they are seeing drops of blood everywhere.
Now, from that Tuesday to today, when you are released, what is the situation right there inside the bush?
It was unimaginable because when we got there, we really know that it was a dominated area by these evil people called bandits. Even they have the courage to tell themselves that we are bandits, and they make us know that there's no one that can just slip away without being caught. And with what we see, nobody can escape. From that place they have dominated. They've knew all the routes surrounding all those bushes within Kwara and other states.
As we continue to hope for the safe return of the hundreds of students still in captivity, the big question remains, when will the Nigerian government take decisive action to not just negotiate the release of victims, but to actually defeat the criminal networks terrorizing innocent citizens? Until that happens, no school, no church, and no community is truly safe. What are your thoughts on these troubling developments? How can Nigeria break this cycle of mass abductions? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't